Jaya Shriman Nārāyana.
Jaya Shriman Nārāyana.
Very good. Well, welcome everyone and namaste. As always, it is my pleasure to be here with you. We have our temple here in Omaha, Nebraska, where we have our devotees who are sitting here live with me. We also, of course, have people from all throughout the world who are joining us now here live. And indeed, again, welcome. And I'm very grateful that you are here. What we're going to be doing today is continuing with the verses from the Mukunda Mala Stotra. And we're going to be looking at a string of very beautiful verses today, actually, where in these verses, Kulashekhara is speaking very specifically about God and about the names of God. So we'll see if we can get through all these verses. I have 4 verses that I would like us to go through, but indeed we will see if we can get through them all. And we'll see if we have time for questions and answers. Maybe we'll have time for 1 or 2 questions toward the end. Before we begin, however, just very, very quickly, I feel very inspired to say this. People may not know this who are watching online, but before we begin the live stream, I began doing something very, very personal. I just did this for myself in order to truly feel connected to God before beginning the live stream. And that is that I would go before our murtis, before each of them, before Lord Nārāyana and then before Lakshmi. And I say a very quick prayer to each of them before we begin. And I pray for several things, one of which I can tell you. I ask God to please empower me such that I may restore Dharma to this world. And specifically with this live stream, I do this first to Lord Nārāyana, then I touch the feet of the Murti and touch my head. Then I do the same thing to Lakshmi Devi, touch her feet and touch my head. And it's something I began just doing on my own. And what was truly amazing is it got to the point where I would come into the temple and do this. And I remember the first day that it happened, actually, that I was just doing this very quietly. And again, it's just a very personal thing. And when I'm done, I open my eyes and I look around, and all the devotees in the temple are standing up with me like this. And I remember seeing that. And now it's become a custom for quite some time now, actually, that I'll do this and I just know, everyone just knows. They stand up and they are there with me like this. And I did that again today, of course, before we began. But it's interesting how this thought came to me as I ended offering my obeisances to Sriman Nārāyana. And the thought was this, that today especially in the Kali Yuga, how is it that people know God? How is it that people can, in a very direct way, feel the presence of Lord Vishnu? And the inspiration came to me. They know the presence of Lord Vishnu by the presence of his devotees. So when we encounter a true Vaishnava, when we encounter an individual who is a devotee, indirectly, but through that person, we are encountering God. And then, understanding that, a second thought came to me. Therefore, let us all be the very best devotees that we can. Let us all be representatives of God upon the earth in every way that we can, such that in this way, others can be inspired. See, what are so many people missing today? People are missing many things today, actually, that were there at one time. But what is one thing that people are missing today in 2026 very specifically? Inspiration. True inspiration. Feeling of hope. A feeling that, I'm not alone, God is with me. And with God on my side, there is nothing good that I cannot do. This is what so many people are missing today. So as a result, indeed, so many people feel depressed, feel black-pilled, feel hopeless. They look around them and rather than understanding that everything that is happening is by the will of God, and therefore ultimately good, Rather, a lot of people will look around them, see the things happening in the world, the things that have been happening in the world for quite some time, and give in to the surface level of what is occurring. And again, become black-pilled. No. We are to become pure devotees of God, pure devotees of Sriman Nārāyana, such that when people see us, and they see that regardless of who we are and what situation we find ourselves in, we are always cheerful, we are always full of hope. And in that way, they will become full of hope. This is one important way in which we're going to change the world. So, again, this just came to me as I was offering my obeisances at the feet of Sriman Nārāyana. And I felt compelled to share this with everyone. Be a devotee. Be the best devotee you can, and in this way be a blessing upon all those who come into your presence, such that through you they will know that God is real. Because for those individuals who are black-pilled, there's only one reason why you are. Only one reason. You have forgotten that God is real. So with that, now we will dive into our beautiful verses. So again, we are going through the Mukunda Mala Stotra, and we will begin with verse 30. And as always, I will first read the verse to people, and then after that I will comment on this beautiful verse. Before I even read this verse, let me just say, you'll see a pattern with this verse. How many times now have I said this? These verses in this Mukunda Mala Stotra are beautiful. They're unique. Even within the context of these just few verses, Mukunda Mala Stotra is just 50-something verses. It's not very long. And yet we've seen so many fascinating, interesting, literary, poetic constructs already. This is yet another one where we're going to see a repetition. So all that being said, let me read this now. He, who are we talking about? Of course, God. He is the jewel riding on the back of Garuda, who carries away the Lord's devotees on his wings. He is the magic jewel protecting the three worlds, the jewel-like cloud attracting the Chataka bird eyes of the gopis, and the jewel among all who gesture gracefully. He is the only jeweled ornament on the apple breasts of Queen Rukmini, who is herself the jewel of beloved consorts. May that crown jewel of all gods, the best of the cowherds, grant us the supreme benediction. Truly, what a beautiful verse. And of course, what is the theme? That God is a jewel. Not just a jewel, but the supreme jewel. So let's talk about this verse and indeed why it is that this is repeated again and again and again and again. What have I said? When we encounter a Vedic scripture, a verse, a slew of verses, and they repeat something, is it trivial?
No.
It is of great importance. So the fact that, again, Kulashekhara, who is not just anyone, he's better than anyone watching right now. He's better than you. He's better than anyone in this room. He's better than me. Oh yes, I don't spare words. People have this radical egalitarianism. Everyone has their opinion. That's 2026. That's the disease of 2026. Everybody has their perspective, their point of view. No one's better than anyone else. No, Kulashekhara is better than all of us combined. Why? Oh, because he's the real thing. That's why. Again, he is someone who, if you look into his history, oh, he was a grand king. He was an amazing king. He was a ruler over an empire. And yet, despite that, you see, anyone watching right now, if we gave you a kingship, if we made the mistake of giving you a kingship for 24 hours, you'd go insane, start slaughtering people, start doing God knows what. No, he was the king of an empire. Not only did he not let it go to his head, as almost anyone today would, instead he did the opposite. He used his opportunity to be a ruler over men to devote his existence to God. What an amazing person. So this is the individual we're talking about who wrote all these verses that we're looking at. So again, why does he repeat this again and again and again? Because he's trying to explain something to us. What is a jewel? Well, there's an actual jewel, but then, of course, there's the figurative jewel that Kulashekhara is talking about. What is a jewel, generally speaking? Well, it's something that is very valuable. You can't just, go somewhere and, oh, here's 5 cents, give me a real jewel. Oh, maybe I'll get a fake one. I don't think you can get a fake one for 5 cents even. Have to spend a lot for a fake one. But no, if you want a real jewel, they're valuable, they're costly, they are rare, they are beautiful, and they are effulgent. And we can go on. But a jewel, we understand, is something, that is a desired thing. Now, with this understanding, why is he comparing God to a jewel? Because God is all of that. He is the rarest of the rare. That's putting it lightly. There is no one like God. There is no one equal to God. God is something that is extremely valuable, just like a person with 5 cents in his pocket can't walk into Tiffany's on Fifth Avenue and say, oh, yes, that $100,000 necklace. Yes, I want that. Oh, yes, sir. Oh, absolutely. And how do you intend to pay for that? Oh, I have 5 cents. They'll throw you out. No. That's just a jewel. That's just a material object. We're talking about that jewel who is God. You want God? God is the most valuable of all things. God is beautiful. This is an aspect of God that we understand intimately within the spiritual tradition known as Sanatana Dharma that is not understood in many other religions. Many other religions, if they're even talking about God per se, they'll say, oh, God is great, God is powerful, etc., etc. We understand that God is beautiful. We understand that God is all attractive, that there is no being in all of creation who is more attractive, more beautiful than God. So in this way, God also is like a jewel. And more, God is effulgent, but not just effulgent. God has an effulgence, a light that is not a reflection of any other light, but rather a light that comes from Him and Him alone. And much more so than merely that, the light that comes from God is actually the source of all light in all of existence. So it's for this reason that Kulashekhara compares God to a jewel. But now let's look at some of the specifics of this. He is the jewel riding on the back of Garuda. Who is Garuda? Garuda is the carrier of God. Garuda is a very, very special being. Garuda is, people have called him different things. He looks like man-like. He is a god, one could say. He is a deva. He's actually above all the devas. But he is kind of like a deva, so he looks kind of like a person who we would recognize. But he also has wings. He is also an enormous bird, an enormous hawk as well. I often think of Lord of the Rings, and you know how we have the eagles in Lord of the Rings. These would be servants to Garuda. Because interestingly, Garuda, a lot of people don't know this, even Vedic people don't know this. Garuda refers to a specific being who is the carrier of Lord Vishnu. It also refers to a race of beings known in the plural as the Garudas. There are several of them. A lot of people are not aware of this. It doesn't take a lot of research through the Vedic scriptures to find this out, actually. But there are multiple Garudas, of whom Garuda himself is the king. So, indeed, what it is saying here is he that is God, Nārāyana, is the jewel riding on the back of Garuda. So here we have Garuda, who, again, if we were to think of the beautiful eagles in Lord of the Rings, they would be servants to this one being. And yet he carries Lord Vishnu on his back, being the servant of Lord Vishnu. And when Lord Vishnu is on the back of Garuda, you think that you're looking at the most beautiful jewel. So that's what this is saying. But more. Now it's continuing to speak about Garuda, who carries away the Lord's devotees on his wings. This is the truly beautiful part. This is the truly beautiful part. Again, I keep going back to Lord of the Rings. You'll remember in Return of the King, toward the very end, when Frodo and Sam are there, they've thrown the ring into Mount Doom. Hope I'm not spoiling. I'm giving spoilers to anyone. I'm sure at this point, if anyone doesn't know how Lord of the Rings ends, well, God help you. But Frodo and Sam are convinced. All right, we completed our mission. We're on a rock surrounded by lava. We're here at the very end of the world, and we're probably going to die now. And they have acquiesced to this. They've done their mission. They're content. But then out of the sky, what happens? There come three eagles. And they swoop down, and one grabs Frodo, one grabs Sam. The third one didn't grab anyone. And of course, now we know why. Third one came from for Gollum, who was already dead. Very sadly. But whenever I watch Lord of the Rings and I see that, I think to myself, yes, that also is what Garuda does for the devotees of Vishnu, and that is what is meant by this, that he carries away the Lord's devotees on his wings. That means in several senses. That means that when the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord very specifically are in true existential trouble, Garuda himself will save them. But also means that at the end of this life, those pure Vaishnavas, those pure devotees will be taken away by Garuda and flown with his mighty wings to Vaikunta itself. So that's what's being said here. So truly beautiful. Now let's go on. He, again, Nārāyana, he is the magic jewel protecting the three worlds. Indeed. We've talked about the three worlds before. This is a universal concept in the ancient world. People think this is only a Christian idea, that you have earth, you have heaven, you have hell. No, they borrowed it. They borrowed that. This is an idea that is Vedic. The Buddhists believe this, Zoroastrians believe this, and on and on and on. All the ancients believed this idea of the tripartite structure of a given universe. That there is our earthly realm, Middle Earth, our earthly realm. There are the heavens, not the spiritual realm, but the heavens where powerful beings reside, beneficent beings. And then there are the hellish realms. Each Brahmanda, each universe has these three realms. Well, what is being said here is that Lord Nārāyana is akin to a magic jewel protecting the three worlds. So as much suffering as we think we go through in this world, the truth of the matter is that if Lord Vishnu were not behind the scenes silently protecting us from ourselves and our own stupidity, this world would have been destroyed by us 1,000 times over. He is here protecting us at all times, but more, he is especially available to those individuals who are aware of that protection. So indeed, this is why devotees, people who are Vaishnavas, have no fear, because we know that we are ultimately protected by God. This is why I've been saying to people for over a year now, and I will continue for maybe another year or so, and then at that point I won't have to say it anymore. But I quote Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 66, Ma shuchaha, do not fear. We have nothing to fear. If you're a good person, not just a good person, if you're a spiritual person, not just a spiritual person, if you are very specifically Vaishnava, Vaishnava is not a sect. Vaishnava means an individual whose sole spiritual goal in life is to surrender the totality of his being at the feet of God with a mood of service. Please, my Lord, let me serve you. If you are such a person, you have no reason to fear. You are protected by God himself. So indeed, this magical jewel who is God, who is protecting the three worlds. Now let's go on. This next part is a little, it seems a little bit convoluted. That's the nature of good poetry. It's actually not convoluted. It's actually just layer upon layer upon layer. But let's go through this next part that's also extremely beautiful. The jewel-like cloud attracting the Chataka bird eyes. All right, let's stop there. There's several things here. First of all, we're still speaking about God. Kulashekhara is speaking about Nārāyana. But now he refers to him in a very specific way as Shyama. Shyama. That is, the jewel-like cloud. Why is he referring to God as a cloud? Again, this is the nature of true poetry. This is the nature of the beauty of words and the beauty of symbolism done right. God is often compared to the hue of rain-filled clouds. This is how he looks. Indeed, the very word for this is Shyama, which is in fact one of the names of God, Shyama, Shyama Sundara, etc. And it means one whose hue, whose luster, looks like rain-filled clouds. So if you were to look at rain-filled clouds and see the color of that, that is the hue of God. So unless you know this, you don't know this, what he's referring to here. So, all that being said, the jewel-like cloud, so again, that is God, attracting the Chataka bird eyes. What is a Chataka bird? First of all, you can even just raise your hand. You don't have to say, does anyone here know what a Chataka bird? What is the Chataka bird? Do you know?
Not very well.
But you've heard.
Yes.
You've heard of that. Yeah. This is spoken about several different places. Again, this is the nature of the Vedic scriptures, that they are layer upon layer upon layer of beauty. Each word here is full of such meaning that if you understand even the concept behind the word, it would almost make you cry. So what is a Chataka bird? I forget the English or Latin designation of this bird, but this is a real bird. It's a very special bird. It's a very small bird. It's not very big. You tend to find them on beaches, a few other places actually. But the nature of this bird is that if it can help it, it tries not to drink water from the ground. You know, we've seen birds drink. And they'll find a little water on the ground, and they'll go toward the ground and they'll drink the water. The Chataka bird, it will do that if it has to, but it tries not to. Rather, what it does is it waits for the rain. And it's a beautiful thing. When it starts to rain, the Chataka bird, rather than looking down, looks up and opens its mouth and tries to catch the raindrops. The Chataka bird will be very patient. Again, if it's a matter of life or death, it will stoop down to drinking water from the ground. But otherwise, it will be very patient, and it will wait. It will wait. It will wait for the rain clouds as it's looking up into the sky, and wait for the rain clouds to come with hope in its little chest. And when it starts to rain, it will drink that rain directly from the sky. Now, why is this being used here? It's because this also is symbolic of the pure devotee. The pure devotee does not, quote unquote, drink from the ground. What does that mean? Pure devotee does not care for the pleasures of this world. It's not impatient. The pure devotee is not impatient. They don't want the yucky things of this world. Rather, the pure devotee, with patience, doesn't look down at the dirt, but looks up toward the heavens, and indeed waits for the grace of God to descend upon him. That is the Chataka bird. So indeed, in several of the Vedic scriptures, several places, Prabhupada wrote about this, that little bird is compared to the Vaishnava. The Vaishnava should be like that little bird. It will drink from the ground if it has to, but otherwise it would rather just exercise patience. Rather than looking down, the devotee wants to look up and wait for that grace of God to descend from above. So that's the Chataka bird. But we're not done. The jewel-like cloud, that is God, who is doing what? He's attracting certain people. And what's being said here is that they have eyes that are like Chataka birds. So the Chataka bird eyes of who? The gopis. Why all this elaboration? Because again, today we have lost the true meaning of beauty. This is the true meaning of beauty. Now he's talking about God, who is the Lord of the gopis. And who are the gopis? The gopis, as we know, are young girls. No, 13, 14, 15, 16. They're teenagers. Young girls. Who in their previous life were accomplished devotees to the point where they actually encountered Lord Rama himself. That's who the gopis are. They are the purest of devotees, but in the form of young girls, just to trick you, just to give you some humility. The greatest of devotees, interestingly, are not these grand yogis with big beards. They're innocent little girls, but they are so in love with God that their very eyes, it's said that, this is what's being said, when you look into their eyes, it's like you're seeing these little chataka birds. Just imagine that. When you look at their eyes, it's like you're seeing the little chataka birds in their eyes. You're seeing that purity. So this is what he's saying. He's now speaking about the gopis. So let's go through this again. We may end up doing only this one verse for the totality of the live stream. I think we'll do more, but that's how beautiful this verse is. So the jewel-like cloud, that is God, who is attracting the gopis. So the gopis are attracted to God, but it's not just that. Who are these gopis? You look at their eyes, and their eyes are like these little chataka birds who represent the pure heart of the devotees. And the jewel among all who gesture gracefully. Now that's interesting. Again, I've said this so many times. Oh, we need to take our time with the Vedic scriptures. So many people today, sadly, even sincere people, I've known such people who ended up being very sincere, very nice people, but they'll read the Vedic scriptures like they're reading Marcus Aurelius, or like they're reading, pick your favorite philosopher, Nietzsche, someone worthless like that. They'll just kind of read. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I think, I don't know. Go on, and read. You can't read the Vedic scriptures like this. As we're seeing, it is truly amazing how when you contemplate what is being said, it's just astounding. So he's still talking about God, who is that jewel among all who gesture gracefully. So this is saying several things. It's talking about God. God is the one here who is the subject, who is gesturing in a graceful sort of way. What is this saying? Several things. First of all, God has form. God is a person. Rocks don't gesture. A brick doesn't gesture. A brick doesn't have form. A brick doesn't have personality. But we're not talking about a brick. See, this is sadly Advaita, Neo-Advaita, Neo-Hinduism. This is New Age. This is individuals who are pretending to be spiritual, but if they have their way, they would prefer that God is a brick. They want to deny God's personality. They need, in their warped psychology, for God to be a brick. Why? Because a brick is yours. A brick is insentient. A brick is something you don't have to answer to. A brick is something you don't have to have a relationship with. A brick is something that you see as your tool. You can take that brick, you can do whatever you want with it. You can throw it at someone. You can just have it be one of many bricks that you're building a house with. You can just break it in half. You can etc., etc., etc. There are many people for whom they claim to be spiritual, but if they had a preference, really, they would want God to be a brick. This verse is saying, sorry, God is not a brick. God is the opposite. God gestures gracefully. What does this mean? Well, to gesture, by definition, due to philosophical necessity, means the being gesturing is a being who is a personality, and that is exhibited by the fact that they have free will. Again, non-free will entities, insentient entities don't gesture. But here God is gesturing. And what does it mean that God is gesturing? It means that with every movement of God's form, there is nothing but beauty. You cannot even say, oh, God scratched his head. No. God gestures such that with every movement there is nothing but beauty. Indeed, the center, the source, origin of all beauty in existence. So indeed. And the jewel among all, so God, who gesture gracefully. Now let's go on. He is the only jeweled ornament on the ample breasts of Queen Rukmini. Now who is Queen Rukmini? This is one of the consorts. This is a manifestation of Lakshmi Devi, very specifically. You know, when God appears upon the earth, and we're talking about Nārāyan, Vishnu, who is the source of all the avatars in accordance with all the Vedic scriptures. When Lord Vishnu descends upon the earth, he brings with him Lakshmi Devi. There is never a time when Lord Vishnu descends upon the earth in avatar form in which in one way or another he doesn't have Lakshmi Devi, his consort, with him. They are never separated, ever. This being the case, it was understood that very specifically when Lord Krishna was here, there were several manifestations of Lakshmi Devi. One was Radharani. Another one was Rukmini. Rukmini being the queen of Dwaraka. So Krishna's queen, Krishna's consort. So it's amazing what is being said here. Again, this is pure poetry. That he, that is Lord Vishnu himself, is really the only jeweled ornament. So in other words, if you can imagine a necklace, you know, a queen, of course, would wear lots of jewelry, including a beautiful necklace. But a necklace is intimate. Why? Oh, we'll just state it bluntly, because it's on the very breast, the very chest of the queen. So in other words, it's something close to her. So what's being said here is that really, for the queen of Dwaraka, the manifestation of Lakshmi Devi, known as Rukmini, there's only one jewel upon her breast, and that is her husband, Lord Vishnu. So imagine. But more. Now it gives a little bit of more explanation about Rukmini, who is herself the jewel of beloved consorts. So it's amazing. So he is the jewel of the jewel. She herself is like a jewel in comparison to all the consorts of Nārāyana. So again, all these manifestations of Lakshmi Devi. She is considered to be like the jewel. He is her jewel. So again, just to reiterate the relationship that's there of love. And now, finally, may that crown jewel of all gods. So again, this makes it very clear. It should have been clear from the beginning. Who is this jewel? Nārāyana. 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 May that crown jewel of all the gods. But still, let's comment on this more. So first of all, of course, this is a plea. This is a type of little prayer. First, he's making statement after statement, but now he ends with a prayer. He's saying, oh, please, may this be the case, that crown jewel of all the gods. So again, radical non-egalitarianism. The gods are not all the gods, not interchangeable. Again, this is neo-Hinduism. It's very sad that people have been saying this now for the last 200 years. All the gods are the same. All the gods are one. Gods, goddesses, doesn't matter. Pick whichever one you want. They're all the same. They're all equal. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But we've seen over the many years, how many times? Hundreds of times. That it makes it very clear that no, there is a radical divine hierarchy in reality. And at the very apex of that hierarchy is Nārāyana. And indeed, this makes this very clear. May that crown jewel of all the gods. So in other words, all the gods pale into insignificance compared to that crown jewel who is on top. So may that crown jewel of all the gods, the best of the cowherds. Oh, now, what hint does this give us? We had a few hints, but we're talking about, he is speaking about Nārāyana in general. So indeed, Garuda is not the carrier of Krishna. No, he's talking about Nārāyana, about Vishnu, but he's also speaking about a very specific avatar. Which avatar?
Krishna.
Yes, Krishna. Again, Queen Rukmini is the consort of Krishna, but now he makes it even clearer. He is the best of cowherds, so thus he is Gopala. He is the protector of the cows. So we're talking about Krishna. May he grant us the supreme benediction. And thus this is how it ends. Only God can give us the supreme benediction, or those who are empowered directly by God. No one else can. What is that supreme benediction? Oh, that is the question. We've encountered this for those who have been with us for weeks and weeks, months and months now, as we've been going through the Mukunda Mala Stotra. We understand what is the supreme benediction. There are several supreme benedictions, from lower to highest. The lowest supreme benediction is liberation. What is meant by liberation? Something that to most is truly an inconceivable experience. That is absolute and utter freedom from all that which we are not. Freedom from fear, freedom from illusion, freedom from everything that is the opposite of that which is true. That's liberation. Higher than that, however, is liberation in such a way that we also know God. But even then, again, hierarchy, we can know God on a surface level sort of way. We can be even a liberated being who our experience of God is not the most depthful, just kind of surface level. But then we can know God in such a way that we surrender unto God. We have bhakti or devotion to God in such a way that we now have reciprocal loving relationship with God and more in God's very realm itself, Vaikunta. This is the highest. So indeed, when he says supreme benediction, he has spoken about all these things. The Vedic scriptures speak about all these layers of liberation. But what is the highest for the Vaishnava? The highest for the Vaishnava is to come to this point of a very supreme mode of consciousness, such that all that is there in the forefront of our consciousness, but then if one could dive as deeply as they possibly could into the inner layers of our consciousness as well, there would be only one mood. My Lord, you are everything for me. Please allow me to serve you for eternity. That's the highest. Very good. Excellent. All right. Let's do another verse, at least one more verse. And then we'll see. We may have to end there and continue, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. This will be now verse 31 of Mukunda Mala Stotra. And again, we've seen how interesting this entire work has been. Now who is he speaking to? He's speaking to his own tongue again. He's done this before, now he's doing it again. O tongue, please constantly chant the mantra composed of Sri Krishna's names. This is the only mantra for destroying all enemies. The mantra worshipped by every word of the Upanishads. The mantra that uproots samsara. The mantra that drives away all the darkness of ignorance. The mantra for attaining infinite opulence. The mantra for curing those bitten by the poisonous snake of worldly desires. And the mantra for making one's birth in this world successful. Beautiful. So again, another beautiful, beautiful verse. And let's talk about this. So again, first of all, who is he addressing? We've seen that throughout the various verses, he's addressing not only different people, different beings. Sometimes he's addressing his own mind. Sometimes he's addressing his own tongue. We've seen that before. Now he's doing that again. He's speaking to his own tongue. Why is he doing this? Again, what is the entire point of this beautiful literary construct? It is to show us how important this is, what he's about to say. It's so important that what he's telling us as the reader, as the listener of this, is that this, what he's about to say, is of such importance that he is imploring, begging in a way, his own tongue to do what he is now about to say. So let's see what he says. Please constantly chant the mantra composed of Sri Krishna's names. So beautiful. This is in general how things begin, and this is the general instruction that he's giving to his own tongue. So he's telling his own tongue, please do this. Please listen to me very carefully. I'm asking you to please recite, chant, meditate upon the mantra that is composed of Sri Krishna's names. Now, we've spoken about this many times. Why is it important to meditate specifically on a mantra that has the name of God in it? Why is it important to meditate upon the name of God? And here specifically, he's being very specific, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. See, we have to keep this in mind, that when we talk about the Alvars, the 12 Alvars, and indeed there were 12 of them, of whom Kulashekhara is one, most of these individuals understood, well, not most, I'm sorry, all of these individuals understood that Nārāyana is the source of all the avatars, including Rāma, including Krishna, including Kalki, and Narasimha, etc., etc., etc. But at the same time, most of the Alvars were devotees specifically of Krishna. Now, how interesting, the International Sanatana Dharma Society also follows in the same footsteps as the Alvars. That is, philosophically, we understand that Nārāyana is the source of all avatars, that Krishna is an avatara of Nārāyana. Yet, interestingly, it is part of the teachings of the ISDS that, despite the fact that we know this, Lord Krishna is the avatar for our age. So that being the case, interestingly, most members of the ISDS very specifically focus on Krishna. Some will focus on Rama, some will focus specifically on Vishnu, etc. But indeed, Lord Krishna is the avatar for our age. And keep in mind especially that the Alvars lived, approximately 1,000 years, if not less, 500 years, 1,000 years after Lord Krishna left the planet. So this is why he's pointing to Krishna very specifically, as is appropriate, as is proper. So please constantly chant the mantra composed of Sri Krishna's names. So, of course, this begs the question, which mantra? It doesn't say. He doesn't say at any point here. But there are several mantras that are composed of specifically Krishna's names. One of these, of course, is the famous mantra, which is said backwards today, but said properly in the Kalisantarana Upanishad, Hare Rāma, Rāma Rāma, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. There is this mantra, but there are also other revealed Krishna mantras throughout the totality of the Vedic scriptures. All you need to do is read the Vedic scriptures, and you'll see mantras specifically that reflect the names of Krishna. So again, he doesn't make it clear which specific Krishna mantra he's speaking of. And it doesn't really matter. Why? Because the very fact that Krishna's name is in a revealed mantra is enough to give us everything that we need, liberation and devotion. So, all that being said, let's go on. This is the only mantra for destroying all enemies. Oh, how interesting. Let's stop there. Let's stop there. So he says something very interesting here that you would not necessarily expect to be on the radar of a Vaishnava sage. And that is thinking about enemies, and how, let me read this again, for destroying all enemies. So again, this is not necessarily something that we would expect to come out of the mouth of a Vaishnava sage, a pure devotee. So what does he mean by this? Does he mean actual enemies, that is, individuals who, and let's unpack this a little bit. Who is he speaking to? He's speaking to someone who is necessarily a Vaishnava. What does that mean? He's speaking to individuals who necessarily are following Dharma, who necessarily are good, virtuous, moral beings. So therefore, with that understanding, who of logical necessity would be the enemies of such good beings? He's talking about evil beings. Evil beings. Everything from actual asuras, that is actual demonic beings, to people who are possessors of the opposite of the qualities of a Vaishnava, who do not follow Dharma, who have no devotion, who are not moral, etc., etc., etc. So let's start with the most immediate. So when he says destroying all enemies, does he mean individuals who are evil? Oh yes, the names of God will destroy such people. Will destroy such people. And interestingly, why? Because the Vaishnava says to himself, oh, they're evil people. Let me hurl the name of Krishna at them to destroy them. No. 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 This is not what he's alluding to. Rather, what he's alluding to is the fact that the devotee, having taken shelter of the names of Krishna, if any evil being were to try to approach him in any malevolent sort of way in order to try to harm him in any way, the very fact that that Vaishnava has taken shelter of the names of Krishna will ensure the destruction of the demonic. Whether that Vaishnava is even thinking of them or not, that's the power of Krishna's name. So yes, he's talking about other beings who are demonic, who are enemies of the good, but more. He also means the inner enemies as well. And again, this has been spoken of, both alluded to, but then also very frankly and bluntly in many different scriptures, that when we take the names of Krishna and we meditate upon the names of Krishna, those enemies that are within the psyche of the practitioner, the yogi Vaishnava, the Vaishnava yogi, who is trying to reform themselves, who's trying to purify themselves, the enemies of lust, the enemies of anger, the enemies of envy, the enemies of doubt, etc., 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 within the devotee are destroyed by taking shelter of the names of Krishna. Now let's go on. And he says, the mantra worshipped by every word of the Upanishads. Oh, this is something, what am I going to say? We could talk about this truly for an hour. Without exaggeration. Because now, what are we doing? We are penetrating deeply into the heart of Vedanta itself. The very culmination of Veda, of true knowledge, true wisdom. Because first he's talking about the Upanishads. Oh, the Upanishads are the foundation of the school of Vedanta. For that matter, of yoga as well. For that matter, interestingly, of even bhakti. Because people don't know this. People who take a very quick glance at the Upanishads, bhakti is also enunciated all throughout the Upanishads. But indeed, what is he saying there? What was he saying here? That every word of the Upanishads, there are 108 Upanishads. There are 108 Upanishads. Some of them are very brief. Some of them you can read in approximately 2 minutes, if even that. Isha Upanishad, for example, you can read very quickly. Some of them, like Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, is this thick, so it would take you a long time to read it. So they're varying sizes, but there are 108 of them. So we're talking about an extensive literature. What is he saying here? He's saying that that mantra, that is the names of Krishna, are worshipped by every word of the Upanishads. So again, we will indeed deal with the Vedantic element that is here very briefly. Again, like I said, we can talk about it for an hour. What is he actually saying here? Philosophically, oh, there are the Upanishads. There are 108 of them. It's understood by all schools of Vedic philosophy that the Upanishads deal with the utmost of philosophies, the most pristine philosophy. It deals with Vedanta itself and more. All of Vedanta, all of the Upanishads, which is the scriptural foundation, part of the Prasthanatraya, part of the three scriptural foundations of Vedanta itself, are pointing to one thing and only one thing. And what is that? Krishna, Nārāyana, the holy names of God, and to this path, that by reciting the mantra, the names of God, you will have everything. That's in essence what he is saying. What he's saying is, oh, you are an aficionado of Vedanta? Very nice. That's very good of you. Every word of the very scriptural foundation of Vedanta, the Upanishads, is pointing to what we're speaking of here. That's what he's telling us. Amazing. Amazing. Very good. The mantra that uproots samsara. So indeed, reciting the names of Krishna uproots samsara. What is samsara? The cycle of birth and death that we are in. He mentioned this in previous verses, that indeed we're in this ocean of suffering, being born again, reincarnating. It is by taking shelter of the names of Krishna that indeed we can have freedom from samsara. The mantra that drives away all the darkness of ignorance. You can say it like Prabhupada did, ignorance. So indeed, the names of Krishna drive away the darkness of ignorance. We are in ignorance right now. And it's like being in darkness, but it's worse. Oh, how can it get worse than that? Oh, trust me. It's worse than merely being in darkness, because we are in a darkness that we're not even aware of. If you are in darkness and you're aware of it, oh, you can do something to get out. But most people are in darkness and they don't even know it. That is the ignorance of illusion. That is the ignorance of ahankara, of false ego. The names of God drive away this darkness. Now let's go on. The mantra for attaining infinite opulence. Again, cursory glance, a person would say, oh, this seems very materialistic. What does he mean? That you'll have lots of treasures? No, opulence. You don't understand the word opulence because it's a word that's beyond most people today. You know, it's sad that even English, this is true for all the languages, but even when it comes to the English language alone, we have forgotten how words were used in the past. What's meant by opulence is not a lot of wealth. What's meant by opulence is that you are now living in a condition that is replicating the heavens. That's what's meant by opulence. You are living in an auspicious environment. So indeed, this mantra will give us such an auspicious inner environment, infinite opulence. Let's go on. The mantra for curing those bitten by the poisonous snake of worldly distress. Wow. There's so much that's here. So first of all, individuals who are in worldly distress. Who does that describe? Almost everyone here. Again, there are two kinds of people in the world. Sages aside, we're talking about common people, just common Joe Schmo who you meet in the street. There are two kinds of Joe Schmoes. There are the ones who they are aware that they are suffering, and then there are those who are too arrogant to admit it, because they think they have some money and that's somehow saving them, or they think they have a good coterie of friends who they can go out on Friday nights with. So, oh, I'm not suffering. Those are the two Joe Schmoes in the world. The ones who know, oh yeah, I'm suffering. Yeah, things are tough in this world. And then the ones who lie to themselves and lie to others. So indeed, it is a world of worldly distress, but more. How does he describe this? Those bitten by the poisonous snake of worldly distress. So in other words, those individuals who are in this world who it's like we've been bitten by a snake, by a poisonous snake, obviously, and as a result, we are now in worldly distress. What is that poisonous snake? I said it about a minute and a half ago. Illusion caused, yes, that's right. Caused by what? Ego. That's the poisonous snake that has bitten us. And as a result, we're in worldly distress. This mantra cures that. And then finally, and the mantra for making one's birth in this world successful. This is more profound than people understand. How sad is it? I'm just going to end by saying this. I don't think we'll have time for questions and answers, very sadly. But let me just say this about this last clause that is here. To be born as a human is the most privileged thing imaginable. And when we look around us and we see human beings who are in human form, and they have, a modicum of human intelligence, and, let's say that they're somewhat healthy, they have 2 arms, they have everything a human being needs for success. And rather than appreciating it, they want to live in someone's basement, be 40 years old, scarcely have a job, having never really dated or been married or had children, and really having done nothing with that human form of life that they were given as a gift. How sad is that? How sad is that? And we see that a lot today. We see people who, they use this human form of life to become criminals. And rather than doing good for themselves, for their family, for the community, for others, they become criminals. Oh, let me use this form of life to be on a street corner in Chicago and sell drugs. Or they use it to just give it pleasure, give this body pleasure, 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 and then they just die and it was for nothing, etc. No. We have been given the greatest of privileges, and how amazing is it that so many people are not even aware of this. We have been given a human form of life where we have the ability to think discursively, to think philosophically, to figure things out. We all have certain talents, and all of us can learn talents, can learn skills, an infinite number of skills. All of us, again, have this physical body by which we can do good, we can do work, etc. We have so much. And yet, how many people just allow it to be wasted? No, instead we have to do the opposite. We have to understand that, oh, this was a gift. This was a gift. It's not even a gift from my parents. Our parents had no choice but to give birth to us. No, this was a gift from God. Let me make sure, that being the case, that I use every single breath that I take to do good with this gift of a human body, a human mind, and being situated in this world such that I can do great things. So with that understanding, let's look at this clause quickly one more time. And the mantra for making one's birth in this world successful. When we take shelter at the lotus-like feet of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, when we meditate upon the names of Lord Krishna with devotion, and thus surrendering ourselves to Lord Krishna, but also then to what it means to be a proper Vaishnava, that we are now following Dharma, that we are following the ethical precepts of Sanatana Dharma, that we are improving ourselves more and more and more. In what way? Spiritually? Yes. Only spiritually? No. A Vaishnava improves themselves spiritually. They also do so intellectually. They also do so even financially. They also do so as far as their health, as far as their appearance, as far as everything. What is a Vaishnava? In a very practical sense, it's an individual who seeks excellence in all things that they do, and without excuse. These words never come out of the mouth of a Vaishnava. Oh, I guess that's good enough. I guess that's good enough. Such words never come out of the mouth of a Vaishnava. They seek excellence in all things. And this is what is being spoken of here. The mantra for making one's birth in this world successful. So indeed, be a Vaishnava. That doesn't mean a sect. You don't convert to Vaishnavism. What it means to be a Vaishnava is that, again, you have only one goal in your life, and that is a spiritual goal. And what is that spiritual goal? That you will so rid yourself of ego and illusion and everything that is unreal and of no importance, and more, that you will devote your existence with absolute prapatti, absolute surrender at the feet of God with devotion, such that you have only one motivation within you, screaming out from every cell of your being, and that is, Lord Krishna, how may I serve you? And how may I please you? When we follow this path, we have everything. Everything. Everything that we want and that we need, according to Kulashekhara. Very good. So we will indeed end here. We'll continue with more verses the next time that we get together. Again, thank you all for being here. We will not have time for Q&A, but we'll see. Maybe in the future we will. Very quickly, and I mean very quickly, just a few important announcements. Indeed, we now have released the Yugabda calendar. I haven't seen, but hopefully, yes, it is there actually. The The link is here in the chat. Please feel free to follow that link, and very quickly, because in the future I'll be talking about this more extensively. Very quickly, in Sanatana Dharma, what is known as the Vedic tradition, we have our own calendar. Very few people know this. It's called the Yugabda calendar. Indeed, coming up on March 19th is going to be the Yugabda New Year, and it's going to be the year 5128. That's how old the Kali Yuga is, very specifically. Well, the wonderful, wonderful, good-hearted, selfless devotees of the International Sanatana Dharma Society took it upon themselves to create a beautiful physical print calendar that you can purchase. And it's the Yugabda calendar. It has the dates for Vedic holidays, etc. The Yugabda calendar begins on the New Year, our New Year, which is March 19th. We have our own New Year. It begins in spring. It begins as the weather is becoming beautiful. It begins as the sun is rising. That's a real New Year. So indeed, our New Year is March 19th. The Yugabda calendar that we have for sale starts in March, and it goes on for, I believe, 14 months. It is a beautiful calendar where it's all original artwork done by devotees of the International Sanatana Dharma Society. So indeed, please follow the link, and you will see that there. Another quick announcement, and it's connected to what I just said, but again, as it gets closer to the date, we will announce this more and more throughout the world. And that is that we will have a special live stream on that day, Thursday, March 19th at 7 p.m. to celebrate the Vedic New Year. So again, you'll see announcements. We don't have a link yet. We will have the link, etc. Please join us. Please mark this down, at least on your calendar. So Thursday, March 19th of this year, we will be having a live stream at 7 p.m. Central Time, where we will be celebrating worldwide the Vedic New Year. The last thing I want to say is please visit our website, dharmacentral.com, and you'll see all this information there, including you can get the calendar there, etc. You can very kindly donate to the ISDS, which would be very, very much appreciated. We are a non-profit religious organization, 501c3. Any donations that you give to us helps us to spread Dharma throughout the world. And with that, everyone, we will end here. Please join us again next Sunday at the same time. And everyone, together, Jaya Shriman Nārāyana.
Jaya Shriman Nārāyana.
Namaste.
Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam tadatmanam shrijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma sangstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge